Okay, good morning, guys. Today you are going to be reading Act 1, Scene 2 of Hamlet, whereas Scene 1 we focused on mood. Scene 2, we're going to focus on word choice. Okay? In Scene 2, how does word choice develop the characterization of Claudius and Hamlet? Okay? Just so you have a visual, Hamlet, Claudius. And by now you know who Claudius is. Now, here are some important definitions. Okay? First, we have a monologue. A monologue is a long, uninterrupted speech or poem given by a single person or character made to other characters on stage. Okay? This is the key thing that separates a monologue from a soliloquy, which we'll read in a second. A monologue is a long, uninterrupted speech, but it's made to other characters. Okay? As opposed to a soliloquy, which is a long speech made by a character to the audience. Okay? So the character is alone on stage and they are just they're giving a long speech that usually reveals the character's thoughts. The speech is usually everything that's in their head that they're just thinking out loud so the audience knows. And then we have an aside. An aside is easy. It's just a quick remark made by a character usually aimed at the audience. Now, after you read for the work, we have a monologue from Claudius, and we have a soliloquy from Hamlet. Okay, so the monologue from Claudius, he's talking to other characters on stage. Hamlet, you are so sweet and such a good son to mourn your father like this, but you have to remember that your father lost his father, who lost his father before him, and every time each son has had to mourn his father for a certain period. But overdoing it is just stubborn. It's not manly. It's not what God wants, and it betrays a vulnerable heart and an ignorant and weak mind. Since we know that everyone must die sooner or later, why should we take it to heart? You're committing a crime against heaven, against the dead, and against nature. It's irrational, since the truth that all fathers must die. Please give up this useless mourning of yours and start thinking of me as your new father. Here's the question. If you could take everything that Claudius says in this section of the text and put it into one sentence, what would that sentence be? Write your answer right here. Next, we have the soliloquy by Hamlet. Hamlet is speaking his innermost thoughts out loud. No one could hear him but the audience. Before we even read, the questions are, what two themes are addressed in this soliloquy? Ah, I wish my dirty flesh could melt away into vapor, or that God had not made a law against suicide. Oh, God, God, how tired, stale, and pointless life is to me. Damn it. It's like a garden that no one is taking care of, and that's growing wild. Only nasty weeds grow in it now. I can't believe it's come to this. My father only been dead for 2 months. No, not even two. Such an excellent king, as superior to my uncle as a god is to a beast, and so loving toward my mother that he kept the wind from blowing too hard on her face. Oh God, do I have to remember that? She would hang on to him, and the more she was with him, the more she wanted to be with him. She couldn't get enough of him. Yet, even so, within a month of my father's death, oh, I don't even want to think about it. Oh, woman, you're so weak. Even before she had broken in the shoes she wore to his funeral, crying like crazy, even an animal would have mourned its male longer than she did. There she was, marrying my uncle, my father's brother, who's about as much like my father as I'm like Hercules. Less than a month after my father's death, even before the tears on her cheeks had dried, she remarried. Oh, so quick to jump into the bed of incest. That's not good, and no good can come of it either. But my heart must break in silence, since I can't mention my feelings out loud. Again, what two themes are addressed in this soliloquy? So, you've read Act 2. You're going to do these two questions right on here, and that is your work for Act 1, Scene 2. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.